News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 1 hour. After wrapping his Varanasi visit, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit the eastern state of Bihar will inaugurate new campus of Nalanda University and other infrastructure projects. Russian President Vladimir Putin receives warm welcome by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un on his historic visit. Both leaders vowed new multipolar world. US President Joe Biden unveils one of the largest immigration plans, allowing hundreds of thousands to gain the country's citizenship. And proud moment for India again. Neeraj Chopra wins gold medal in the men's javelin throw at Paavo Nurmi Games 2024 in Finland, ahead of the upcoming Paris Olympics. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be inaugurating Nalanda University's new campus in Rajgir in the eastern state of Bihar on Wednesday. Conceived as an international university under a joint collaboration between India and the East Asia Summit countries, the ceremony will also be attended by External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and ambassadors of 17 nations. The university offers postgraduate and doctoral research courses. The Net Zero campus is located close to the ruins of the ancient Nalanda University, which was established around 1600 years ago. And now we'll get you quick highlights on the Nalanda University. It started functioning in 2014 from a makeshift campus with 14 students. The construction work of the university began in 2017. The international university is supported by 17 nations, including Australia, Bangladesh, Bhutan, and South Korea. It offers 137 scholarships to international students. Now, these include scholarships sponsored by ASEAN India Fund and the BIMSTEC scholarships. It has 6 schools, including the School of Buddhist Studies. With 40 classrooms, the university's 2 academic blocks have a seating capacity of nearly 1,900. On Tuesday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi participated in a program felicitating farmers in Varanasi, a city in the North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. The Prime Minister released the 17th installment, amounting to more than $2.5 billion to around 92 million beneficiaries through the direct benefit transfer method. So far, more than 110 million eligible farmer families have received benefits of more than $37 billion under the government's program. During the event, the Prime Minister granted certificates to more than 30,000 women from the self-help groups. After being sworn in as Prime Minister for a third time, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had signed his first file authorizing the release of the 17th installment, reflecting the commitment of the government towards farmers' welfare. Addressing the gathering, the Prime Minister said that more than 1 million farmers joined the government program, whereby farmers get a fixed amount of money as minimum support income.
पीएम किसान सम्मान निधि में सही लाभार्थी तक लाभ पहुंचाने के लिए टेक्नोलॉजी का बेहतर इस्तेमाल हुआ है। कुछ महीने पहले ही विकसित भारत संकल्प यात्रा के दौरान भी 1 करोड़ से अधिक किसान इस योजना से जुड़े हैं। सरकार ने पीएम किसान सम्मान निधि का लाभ पाने के लिए कई नियमों को भी सरल किया है। जब सही नीयत होती है, सेवा की भावना होती है, तो ऐसे ही तेजी से किसान हित के जनहित के काम होता है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a massive roadshow in Varanasi on Tuesday. People in large numbers gathered to have a glimpse of the Prime Minister. They also showered flowers at the cavalcade of the Prime Minister. Later, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the Shashwamedh Ghat in Varanasi. He conducted Ganga Pujan and other rituals at the Ghat. Ganga Aarti was performed in his presence. Uttar Pradesh Governor Anandiben Patel and Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath were also present on the occasion. Prime Minister also witnessed the bhajans performed at the Ghat.
Om idaggung havihi prajananadibhye namaha Om jedirthani prajaranti srigastani gangina Tekhaggu sahadrayo jane vadhanva nidanmasi Namasarvitarthaya jagadadharahitave Sastrangoyam.
After Ganga Aarti, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Kashi Vishwanath Temple in Varanasi and offered prayers. He worshipped Lord Shiva in the temple and performed various sacred rituals. Varanasi is one of the world's oldest continuously inhabited cities. Kashi, its ancient name, was associated with the kingdom of the same name more than 2 millennia ago. But its journey from a symbol of faith to a symbol of development is nothing short of remarkable. Take a look at this report.
Varanasi, also known as Banaras or Kashi, the spiritual capital of India and one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. It is one of the most sacred cities in Hindu religion, a place of pilgrimage for Hindus. Hindus believe that breathing one's last on the banks of Varanasi leads to salvation and freedom from the cycle of birth and rebirth. It is believed that the river Ganga, which flows through Varanasi, washes away the sins of mortals. Varanasi has attracted people from all over the world for ages. An English author, Mark Twain, visited Varanasi in the second half of the 19th century. Enthralled by the city's legend, Twain wrote that Banaras is older than history, older than tradition, older even than legend, and looks twice as old as all of them put together. It remains popular to this day. US actor Brad Pitt has spoken about his visit to the absolutely staggering Varanasi. Another actor, Morgan Freeman, found his stay in Varanasi extremely fascinating. An English cricketer, Steve Waugh, visited Varanasi to fulfill the last wish of a deceased shoe shiner from Sydney. The man's last wish was to have his ashes scattered in the Ganga. 32 tourists from Switzerland signed up for the maiden voyage of the MV Ganga Vilas. The world's longest river cruise was flagged off by the Prime Minister in January 2023. It travelled more than 3,000 kilometers in 51 days from Varanasi to Dibrugarh in India via Bangladesh. The late Prime Minister of Japan, Abe Shinzo, performed and attended the Ganga Aarti along with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Aarti is a Hindu ceremony in which lights with wicks soaked in ghee are lit and offered up to one or more deities.
लेकिन आज यहाँ आने के बाद लगता है कि न मुझे किसी ने भेजा है न मैं यहाँ आया हूँ मुझे तो माँ गंगा ने बुलाया है.
Varanasi's journey from a symbol of faith to a symbol of development is nothing short of remarkable. In 2014, Narendra Modi visited the city to file his nomination for the first time for the parliamentary election. He won the election from Varanasi in 2019 and again in 2024. The development works accomplished in the city with Modi as lawmaker has become an example for others. Next generation infrastructure such as modern transport facilities and convention centers have come up in the last decade, retaining the original temperament and culture of Varanasi. Bureau Report, DD India.
TERI, the prominent organization working in the field of environment, has completed 50 years since its establishment. A program was organized to mark the occasion, which was attended by distinguished guests, including former Central Minister and current Chancellor of Rishihood University, Suresh Prabhu. He emphasized that the environmental crisis is a critical global issue and highlighted TERI's significant role in addressing it over the decades. A quick look at other stories making it to the headlines from across India now. The Delhi airport became the first in India and second airport in the world to introduce quick drop solution for self-service bag drop facility. At present, 50 such units have been installed at Terminal 1 and Terminal 3. The facility reduces the processing time from about a minute to 30 seconds. Himachal Pradesh's Kullu-Manali airport gave a water cannon salute to the first flight from Kullu to Dehradun. The flight to Dehradun will operate on Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. The 4-day International Summer Festival in the North Indian town of Shimla is concluding today. The festival celebrates and showcases the culture of Himachal Pradesh. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that it is a very special day for our education sector. At around 10:30 a.m. today, the new campus of Nalanda University would be inaugurated at Rajgir. Nalanda has a strong connect with our glorious past. This university will surely go a long way in catering to the educational needs of the youth. You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, US reiterates its obligation to defend the Philippines after new clash in the disputed South China Sea. Says China's actions aggressive and dangerous. South Korea's medical infrastructure continues to cripple even as South Korean officials issue return to work orders for doctors participating in the one-day walkout. Break dancing catches the fancy of the elderly in Japan, even as the sport will be part of the 2024 Paris Games.
News as it unfolds, we get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts, we demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times. We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds, we get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts, we demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour and I'm Preeti. The US congressional delegation, including former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, arrived at Dalai Lama Temple in the hill town of Dharamshala to meet the Tibetan spiritual leader, Dalai Lama. The ceremony began in the presence of the delegation at the temple. The delegation also met Tibet's state oracle Nechong State oracles have predicted many things in the past, including the Dalai Lama's exit from Tibet in 1959. The purpose of the visit is to reinforce the resolution that the US signed for a peaceful resolution of the dispute over the status and governance of Tibet. Russian President Vladimir Putin is in North Korea, marking his first visit in 24 years. Putin has affirmed Russia's commitment to strengthening trade and security relations with North Korea and will support it combat adverse impact of sanctions imposed by the United States and other Western nations. Upon his arrival on Tuesday, Putin was greeted by North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un at a welcoming ceremony in Pyongyang. The two leaders held a brief meeting and agreed to develop relations between the two countries. Putin and Kim are scheduled to meet again on Wednesday for one-on-one discussions as well as signing of documents and a statement to the media. Also, the United States has voiced concerns about the closer ties between Russia and North Korea, saying that the deepening cooperation between the two countries is of concern for anyone that's interested in maintaining peace and stability on the Korean peninsula.
Cooperation between Russia and the DPRK is something that should be of concern, especially to anyone that's interested in maintaining peace and stability on the Korean peninsula, but also supporting the people of Ukraine as they continue to fight against Russian aggression. And so, of course, you're well aware of DPRK providing ammunition and weapons to Russia that's been able to help them perpetuate their illegal and unprovoked war against the Ukrainian people. So it's something that we're going to continue to keep an eye on.
All right, DD Chris Gilbert joins us live from Tokyo for more. Chris, good morning. Now, this visit of Putin is a rare visit happening in 24 years. Help us understand the political significance of this visit.
Yeah, well, 24 years ago was a different situation. Back then, Russia was still coming into the fold as the Western narrative sees it, coming out from the cold into new relationships with other post-World War II powers. 24 years later, the situation is very different. The state of the US-led Western bloc has evolved over the last 24 years in such a way that countries like North Korea and Russia have become increasingly isolated in no short part due to their own actions as well, such as you mentioned, the invasion of Ukraine, such as North Korea's defiance of UN Security Council resolutions and launching ballistic missiles and testing its ballistic technology. So that is the situation 24 years since this last happened. Of course, there's now a new leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, who is at the moment looking to, as he says, defend North Korea against Western aggression. And the political significance, the overarching theme, is what Vladimir Putin said on his way to North Korea on Tuesday, which is that he wants to create a trade relationship with North Korea, which, quote, cannot be touched by the West. That's in reference to sanctions that are crushing both of these countries at the moment. And so first things first, they're looking to help each other on that front.
All right, that was about the two countries. But also we've seen how US has expressed its concern. What more do we know of the international reactions coming in on the visit?
Yeah, there has been concern from the US and US-led organizations such as NATO. There have been stories about Germany piping up about some of Russia's actions, about spying. Obviously this is being watched with a lot of interest around the world, especially by neighbors such as Japan. But at the moment, the summit hasn't even happened yet. In about 10 minutes from now is going to be the welcoming ceremony in a central square in Pyongyang. There's going to be wreath laying, there's going to be a gala concert, but most importantly, there is going to be the signing of a comprehensive strategic partnership. Important to remember amongst all the interest in this story that it's not a formal alliance. As experts are saying that may come one day, but not yet. Lots of countries sign these kinds of strategic partnerships together on areas of mutual interest and exchange, and the concern from the US and and its partners is just what shape that exchange is going to take. And there is set to be, interestingly enough, a press conference in Pyongyang following the signing of those documents. So we may learn more from the two leaders at that time.
All right, Chris, we'll leave it here. Thank you for joining in with those details. And the United States renewed a warning on Tuesday that it is obligated to defend its close treaty ally a day after Filipino Navy personnel were injured and their supply boats damaged in one of the most serious confrontations between Philippines and China in a disputed shoal in the South China Sea.
We're going to continue to stand with our Philippine allies. We condemn the escalatory and irresponsible actions by the PRC to deny the Philippines from executing a lawful maritime operation in the South China Sea. And as you've heard Secretary Austin and others say, the Philippines' rightful legal maritime claims must be protected.
China and the Philippines blamed each other for instigating Monday's hostilities in the second Tamas Shoal, which has been occupied by a small Filipino Navy contingent aboard a grounded warship that has been closely watched by Chinese Coast Guard, Navy and suspected militia ships in a years-long territorial standoff. There is fear that the disputes, long regarded as an Asian flashpoint, could escalate and pit the United States and China against each other in a larger conflict. In a major immigration relief to the non-citizens, U.S. President Joe Biden on Tuesday announced a new plan to offer a path to citizenship to the non-citizen spouses and children of American nationals. His plan will protect around 500,000 people living in the U.S. illegally who are married to U.S. citizens, the chance to apply for green cards without leaving the United States. Biden administration said it will keep families together rather than forcing them to leave America while their paperwork is processed. Nick Harper gets us details from Washington.
In outlining this plan, President Joe Biden called it a common sense fix. Up until now, the spouses and children of US citizens have been allowed to remain in the United States to apply for green cards, which gives them the ability to live and work legally here. But in order to do so, they've had to leave the United States, often for as much as a decade, while all of that paperwork is processed. This new scheme gets rid of that, allowing them to stay in the US while that paperwork is processed. Joe Biden called that past application process cumbersome, risky, and he said it separated families. This new plan, he said, would keep those families together, families that he said have often been living under the shadow of the possibility of deportation.
Second action I'm announcing today was about keeping families together. These couples have been raising families, sending their kids to church and school, paying taxes, contributing to our country for 10 years or more. Matter of fact, the average time they've spent here is 23 years. People were affected today. But living in the United States all this time with this fear and uncertainty, we can fix that. And that's what I'm going to do today. Fix it.
He's hoping that this will be a vote winner, in particular to Hispanic voters out there in border states and swing states like Arizona. It's also in many ways an olive branch to those immigration advocates who criticised his plan earlier this month to roll back some of the application processes and privileges that asylum seekers received on the border. But of course, his rival in November's election, Donald Trump, has already come out heavily criticising this plan being put in place. He said that it is a mass amnesty plan, Donald Trump calling it something that will undoubtedly lead to a greater surge in migrant crime that will cost taxpayers millions of dollars. And he also says that Biden doesn't care about the American lives that will be forever destroyed by the illegal criminals that he is importing into the United States. Biden, though, is trying to contrast his policy with that of his predecessors. He's saying that he's keeping families together with this new plan, contrasting it with Donald Trump's controversial policy when he was in power, which separated families at the border, often removing children from their parents while they were deported from the United States. Nick Harper in Washington, reporting for DD India.
Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump held a rally at Wisconsin on Tuesday. He sought to present himself as the best candidate for the U.S. economy at the rally. The former president also vowed to quickly reverse a plan announced by President Biden that would give hundreds of thousands of people in the country illegally a pathway to citizenship. Trump focused on high inflation and mortgage rates, which have dented Biden's popularity, including in politically competitive states like Wisconsin. He connected illegal immigration to violent crime.
Is under invasion. We should not be talking amnesty. We should be talking about stopping the invasion instead. This is an invasion of our country. We have to seal the border. We have to let people come into our country, but they have to come in legally. We have to send Joe Biden's illegal aliens back home where they belong. We have no choice. We have no choice. Our economy is doing terribly. Inflation has killed our economy. It's a nation buster. This Biden amnesty is a direct attack on American democracy.
Colombia will give legal status to up to 540,000 Venezuelan migrants. Colombia's country migration agency said that they will give legal status to the guardians of minors residing in the country on Tuesday. The measures will benefit adults taking care of some 270,000 minors who have permission to reside in Colombia. As per the official statistics, more than 2.8 million Venezuelan migrants currently live in Colombia. Earlier in 2021, the then government said it would give 10-year legal status to Venezuelans living in Colombia. South Korea's largest lobby group for doctors held a one-day walkout on Tuesday as part of months-long protests that began in February against the government's healthcare policies. Thousands of medical practitioners gathered in Seoul protesting against the government plans to increase annual medical school admissions. The government says more doctors need to be trained to deal with dire shortage of practitioners, especially in the rural areas. The Korean Medical Association says the move will lead to lower pay and reduced training standards. However, there is growing division amongst the medical community. South Korean officials have issued return to work orders for doctors participating in the one-day walkout. Thailand's Senate has passed a marriage equality bill, paving the way for the country to become the first in Southeast Asia to recognize same-sex marriage. The upper house on Tuesday approved the measure in its final reading, with 130 votes in favor from the 152 members in attendance, 4 against and 18 abstentions. The law, which needs royal approval, will come into force 120 days after it is published in the Royal Gazette, meaning the first same-sex weddings could take place later this year. People from the LGBTQ community gathered in Bangkok to celebrate the passage of the marriage equality law. And now we take a look at other stories making it to the headlines from across the world. Bolivian state oil firm said that it would be able to transport 3 million cubic meters of Argentine gas to Brazil per day starting in October, as its two South American neighbors discussed options for supplying the region's biggest powerhouse. The deal has not yet been sealed, but energy companies from Brazil and Argentina are seeking to reverse the southerly flow of a natural gas pipeline network. Muslim pilgrims performed a final tawaf on Tuesday to complete the annual Hajj pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia. They performed the ritual by circling the Kaaba in Mecca's Grand Mosque. Hajj, a once-in-a-lifetime duty for every able-bodied Muslim who can afford it, will end on Wednesday. It is considered one of the largest mass gatherings in the world. A break-dancing club in Japan has elderly citizens as its members. A 74-year-old classical Japanese dance master joined a seniors break-dancing group after the 2024 Paris Games confirmed the sport's participation. The team is led by a former national breaking champion and a judge of a breaking competition. The move of the senior group, naturally, are not as acrobatic and gravity-defying that would be expected at the Olympics. Instead, they aim to have fun and stay fit. All right, you're watching DD India News. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, stay with us for the latest on the government formation in South Africa as President-elect Cyril Ramaphosa readies for a second term. After the break, we get you a quick roundup on the weather updates from the nation. We also get you a special report on yoga and its importance in the run-up to the International Day of Yoga on 21st of June. Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour and I'm Preeti. A quick relook at the top stories once again. After wrapping up his Varanasi visit, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit eastern state of Bihar will inaugurate new campus of Nalanda University and other infrastructure projects. Russian President Vladimir Putin receives warm welcome by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un on his historic visit. Both leaders vow new multipolar world. US President Joe Biden unveils one of the largest immigration plans, allowing hundreds of thousands to gain the country's citizenship. The deadline for registering to vote in the UK general election has now passed. That was the Tuesday, 2300 GMT on Tuesday. Now, Britain goes to the polls on 4th of July after Prime Minister Rishi Sunak called a snap election. His Conservative Party looks set to lose the opposition Labour Party unless there is a huge change in public sentiment between now and the election day. Ollie Barrett gets us more from London.
So the deadline has now passed. If you have not registered to vote recently or previously, then you won't get to vote in the election in the UK on July the 4th. As I say, the deadline has passed. The election campaign continues apace. On Wednesday, the Scottish National Party will reveal their manifesto. The SNP insists that the Labour Party have ceded the left of British politics and moved towards the centre, so they say that they will be trying to occupy some of that ground with the release of their manifesto. Labour, the Conservatives, the Reform Party of Nigel Farage, the Liberal Democrats have all already released their manifestos during this campaign. The economy, immigration continue to remain central issues in this election campaign so far. Health and defence spending as well. We are moving towards the last 2 weeks of the election campaign, and the polling continues to suggest that the opposition Labour Party could well be on for a sizable win and a sizable majority after July the 4th. But the Conservatives insist that they can still close the gap. The former Prime Minister Boris Johnson is being used more in campaigning now. The current Prime Minister Rishi Sunak says that he believes that might make a difference. Rishi Sunak is being urged by some Conservatives to get a little bit more aggressive when it comes to his campaigning. It does look very difficult indeed for the Conservatives to try and close that gap. The Reform Party, led by Nigel Farage, right of centre, anti-immigration, have been surging in the polls, getting up to and even beyond the Conservatives at times, something that worries Conservatives very much, but also something that might worry Nigel Farage as well, is that one new poll from YouGov says that 55% of British voters believe that Nigel Farage would be a bad or terrible Prime Minister. So it's not all good news when it comes to the polling for Reform UK. Ollie Barrett in London, reporting for DD India.
In France, the far-right National Rally Party is seen leading the first round of the forthcoming parliamentary election with 34% of the votes, ahead of the 22% for the left-wing Popular Front coalition. As the opinion polls suggest, the far-right National Rally will win ahead of a left-wing alliance, with President Emmanuel Macron's centrist group trailing in third. Official campaigning began on Monday after a week in which parties scrambled to field candidates and strike alliances. Macron's allies repeated assertions that a victory for RN or for the left could create a financial crisis. South Africa President-elect Cyril Ramaphosa is set to be inaugurated for a second term with the Government of National Unity his party created, poised to protect him from being unseated. Now, this alliance was formed after the May 29th elections failed to produce an outright winner. DD India's Isaac Lucando has more on this.
Cyril Ramaphosa is set to begin his second term as president with a celebration featuring song and dance performances by a variety of local artists. However, the festivities mark the end of the excitement. Ramaphosa faces the daunting task of forming and effectively managing a government of national unity. The 5 political parties that have officially agreed to participate in this unity government are bracing for a battle over cabinet positions. Together, these parties hold 273 seats, comprising 68% of the seats in South Africa's National Assembly. With a population eager for socio-economic improvement, Ramaphosa's challenges extend far beyond the cabinet appointments. 2 political parties are contesting the results of the May 29th elections, and a new impeachment bid against the president is in the works. The coming weeks and months will be crucial for both Ramaphosa's political career and the trajectory of Africa's largest economy. Isaac Lucando in Dar es Salaam, reporting for DD India.
Amid protests in the Kenyan capital, the parliamentary panel recommends scrapping new taxes from next year's budget. Police fired tear gas to disperse hundreds of protesters demonstrating in the areas near the Parliament building. The lawmakers will hold a line-by-line debate on the legislation underpinning the budget later this week, after which it will pass to President Ruto to be signed into law. The tax changes contained in the government's funding bill for the 2024-25 fiscal year are the latest effort by Ruto's administration to boost revenue and reduce borrowing. Let's get to weather updates now. Post-fire, a blazing wildfire burning northwest of Los Angeles has burned more than 15,000 acres. Now, according to the authorities, the fire has been blazing since June 15th and forced the evacuation of over 1,000 people. Firefighting crews have been working on dousing the fire for days in some of the most inaccessible areas in the region. A mini tornado hit northern France's Carles-Point commune on Tuesday. Firefighters said that 34 houses had suffered damage, mainly to their roofs, and one farm building had partially collapsed. There were no reports of injuries. Amidst record high temperatures in Greece, cases of tourist casualty are worrying the new visitors. Some tourists who arrived by boat to the remote Matraki Island on Tuesday are now being cautious in the island nation as temperatures soar above 40 degrees Celsius. And back home, the Indian Meteorological Department has forecast heat wave to severe heat wave conditions across many parts of North India on Wednesday. The north to central Indian states, including Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Odisha, will continue to experience intense heat wave along with severe warm temperatures at night as well. However, the Met Agency predicted a gradual reduction in conditions due to approaching western disturbance towards northwest India. Rain continues incessantly in Assam, creating havoc in India's northeastern state. 470 villages in 15 districts are inundated in flood waters, affecting about 160,000 people, with the worst hit being Karimganj. One person lost his life in the deluge, taking the death toll up to 26. A number of relief camps have been increased and the number now is 43. Rescue operations continue as 273 persons were evacuated on Monday. Indian Met Department has issued red alert for Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Sikkim and sub-Himalayan West Bengal today. An orange alert has been issued for other northeastern states. Heavy to very heavy rainfall is expected across the region. All right, Akansha Saxena is joining us live from Chandigarh. Akansha, the Met Department has predicted heat wave, in fact, severe heat wave in the days ahead for the northern part of the country. You're there in Chandigarh. Let us get more from you as to how has the morning begun and how do we expect the days ahead there in Chandigarh?
I would like to tell you that heat wave prevails in most parts of Haryana, Punjab and Chandigarh too. And if we look at the maximum temperature rise from the normal, that was 6 2 days back, and now it is coming down, but it is just a significant 5.2, which is not much, and it is not giving much of respite to the people from the heat wave. And also, IMD has predicted that there's going to be some rain, and they're going to be in some isolated places from to moderate rains are going to be there. Maybe, you know, this would bring a little relief to the people, or it might add to more of woes to the people, because when it rains less, then it's more of you know, it gets onto a very bad condition, weather condition, because there is sun also, there is water also, and then it is not much of a respite to the people. But if it rains nicely, then I think probably people will have respite from the heat wave. And if we talk about the preparedness of the government, then all the hospitals are equipped with IV fluids and the first aid which has to be provided to the heat stroke patients. In addition to that, even the wildlife department is working on filling up the ponds in the jungle so that the flora and fauna doesn't get much affected with this heat wave.
All right, Akansha, any word of caution from the state administration and the agencies for the people?
See, the IMD has been, you know, they have been giving the red alert and the orange alert, and certainly the government is also equipped to help the people with the heat stroke. As such, people are told not to work on when the temperatures are high, and as you said, that temperatures are high in the night also. But what we see from last 2 days is that the temperature is going down, and it has brought some respite to the people.
All right, Akansha, we leave it here. Thank you so much with those details. Thank you for joining in. All right, now we turn focus to updates on the International Day of Yoga, which will be celebrated on 21st of June. The ancient practice of yoga is making a significant impact on mental health. From reducing stress and anxiety to enhancing emotional well-being and mindfulness, yoga offers a holistic approach to mental wellness. DD India correspondent Rahul Upadhyay dives into the science behind yoga's benefits, hear from the experts and share the inspiring stories of transformation. Take a look.
Yoga is derived from the Sanskrit word yuj, which means to unite. Yoga has a profound journey towards unity of mind, body and spirit. In this edition, let's explore how yoga enhances mental health.
The fast-paced life resulting in many lifestyle-related ailments. Issues relating to mental health are also on the rise. Tension, anxiety and depression are being reported at an alarming pace in almost all strata of the society. Popping pills seems to be the go-to solution with the generation next. But yoga provides an alternative solution to these problems with little effort and some attention.
Yoga does not mean as a only asana. It is a Ashtanga yoga. So all steps like yama, niyama, asana, pranayam and towards the samadhi. So in day-to-day practice, if you someone follows certain discipline in the lifestyle, in the diet and the positive thought process and follows and observes the yogasana, I think that is the way of leading healthy and happy life.
Yoga's combination of physical postures known as asanas, controlled breathing and mindfulness techniques effectively promote relaxation and mental calmness. The benefits that occur make yoga a valuable tool to manage the psychological challenges of day-to-day life.
Physical, mental and spiritual, 3 parts of yoga. So we can strong these by asanas, like these are the physical posture. By pranayams, these are called breathing exercises. and by meditation.
People around the world has witnessed the benefits of yoga in their life. Carrie Harrendorf of US, who's a yoga therapist, was suffering with many challenges like anxiety, depression. But after practicing yoga in her daily life, she found it very helpful.
If everyone in the world did yoga, the world would be a better place. There'd be more harmony, more health, more happiness, more integration, right? Life happens in the body, and the body doesn't lie.
Research suggests that including yoga in one's daily routine can significantly reduce cortisol levels, a hormone associated with stress.
19th century Indian philosopher Swami Vivekananda once said, "Through practice comes yoga, through yoga comes knowledge, through knowledge comes love, and through love comes bliss." With this vision in mind, let us pledge to incorporate yoga into our daily life. With camera person Vishwabandhu, this is Rahul Upadhyay reporting from New Delhi for DD India.
Next, we're heading for a short break, but after the break, Virat Kohli meets legendary Wesley Hall ahead of T20 World Cup 2024 Super 8. Portugal kick off their Euro 2024 campaign with an edgy 2-1 Group F win over Czech Republic.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Inaugurating the 21st replenishment meeting of the World Bank's International Development Association in Kathmandu Valley, Nepal Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal urged developed countries to help address challenges faced by countries that lag behind industrial development. Prime Minister Dahal argued that concessional financial assistance for such nations was essential for achieving the global goal of peace and prosperity. He also emphasized that Nepal was in short supply of financial resources to meet sustainable development goals, despite its efforts for inclusive economic development. He also added that Nepal's potential in hydropower and tourism may be leveraged with financial aid through grants. In India, the provisional figures of direct tax collections for the financial year 2024-25 as of June 16th showed net collection at rupees 4,62,664 crore. Now, this is an increase of 20.99% in the financial year 2023-24. According to the government data released by the Finance Ministry on Tuesday, the net direct tax collection includes corporation tax and personal income tax, including securities transaction tax. The provisional figures of gross collection of direct taxes for the financial year 2024-25 stand at 5,15,986 crore rupees. This is a growth of 22.19% over the collections of financial year 2023-24. Provisional figures of total advanced tax collections for the financial year 2024-25 stand at 1,48,823 crore rupees, showing a growth of 27.34% from the last year. Refunds amounting to 53,322 crore rupees have also been issued in the financial year 2024-25, which are 33.7% higher than the refunds issued during the same period in the preceding year. Let's talk of sports now. World champion Neeraj Chopra clinched the gold medal in men's javelin throw at the prestigious Paavo Nurmi Games 2024 in Finland on Tuesday. With a commanding throw of 85.97 meters, Chopra did not only secure the top podium spot, but also delivered a performance that solidifies his status as a front-runner for the upcoming Paris Olympics. His victory at the Paavo Nurmi Games serves as a crucial milestone in his journey. Also, home favourite Toni Keronen claimed the silver medal with a personal best throw of 84.19 meters, while his compatriot and 2022 gold medalist Oliver Helander took the third spot with 83.96 meters. Indian team trained hard at the iconic Kensington Oval on Tuesday, gearing up for the big match against Afghanistan in their first Super 8 encounter on Thursday. Indian star batter Virat Kohli, who is currently in the Caribbean for the ongoing T20 World Cup, met West Indies great Sir Wesley Hall. Hall played 48 test matches and got 192 scalps in his first-class matches, in which the speedster picked up 170 wickets. India won 3 of their 4 matches in Group A, while their clash with Canada got called off due to rain. Afghanistan also won 3 of their 4 matches in Group C. Their only loss, albeit a big one, was against the hosts West Indies. Portugal kick-started their Euro 2024 campaign with an edgy 2-1 Group F win over a dogged Czech Republic on Tuesday. The Czechs had stunned the Portuguese fans packed inside the Leipzig stadium when they took the lead out of the blue in the 62nd minute, as Lucas Provod's superb curling effort threatened to cause an almighty upset. Yet the unfortunate Ranak scored an own goal 7 minutes later to set up a frantic finish that saw Portugal claim the 3 points. Early, Turkey beat Georgia for 3-1 in a dramatic battle under the rain. A stunning long-range strike from teenager Arda Güler helped lift Turkey to a win in their Euro 2024 Group F opener against debutants Georgia. Georgia repeatedly went close to the equalizer. Their tenacious performance deserved and forced a vital block from Samet Akadin in the added time before Kerem Aktürkoğlu made it 3-1 with virtually the last kick of the match. South Africa will have no room for error against the spirited US in its opening Super 8 match of the T20 World Cup 2024 on Wednesday. Slotted in Group 2 of the Super 8s, South Africa emerged as the top side from Group D in the first round, while US clinched a historic berth in the second round after finishing second behind India in Group A. It will be the first time South Africa and US will be meeting in a T20 international. The Proteas are riding high on the positives of 3 consecutive wins. Meanwhile, the US have had a bag of mixed results with 2 wins, a defeat and a washout in the group stage. An early work by the Tunisian rest on the flight into Egypt will be offered for sale at an auction next month. The painting depicts Mary holding the infant Jesus with Joseph sitting nearby as they rest while fleeing into Egypt. All right, that's it in this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR codes on the screens to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.